We were a pretty bubbly team. We had a lot of big personalities. The banter was great. It was really good energy on the sideline, even if we were losing every now and again. But in this game, pin drop silence. Not a single person was talking. There was the odd clap, good shot, like that, yep, a couple of claps, but it was like, oh, technically that was a drop catch. The whole team, the energy, the vibe was down. It was just pure panic. No one knew what to do. We hadn't been in a pressure situation really throughout the tournament. We'd qualified for finals after 8 rounds. There's 14 games. There was no backup plan B. It was just power, power, power. We're going to go hard. And then if you think about it, you're next into bats, you're batting 4 or 5, it's pin drop silence. Our best player all tournament's got 1 off 11 and got out. Meg's been dropped twice and it's not looking great. No one's encouraging, the energy's down. How do you reckon you're feeling going out to bat? Bit scary, isn't it? So we only ended up making about 80 in that game. And they chased it down after 10 overs or something, just completely, absolutely hammered after we'd dominated all year. So in terms of pressure, how many people batting in a WNC or WBBL final would feel that pressure? Yeah? I would. If the best in the world can feel it, they would. But where do you think that fear comes from? Like why does that impact you? It all impacts us, we know that, but why? So I'll give you another example. If you're going for a walk at night, a really dodgy area, so you're going for a walk, right? So, and you just hear a ruffle in the bush. Everyone's feeling that, where you're like, oh my God, what happens? You immediately kind of panic a little bit, yeah? Why? Because that could be something scary, a creepy person in the bush, yeah? So what happens? So when you feel nerves, what happens in your belly? You get butterflies, yeah? Why? Does anyone know why butterflies happen? It's because all the blood rushes out of your stomach and gets you ready to move. So when back in the day, thousands and thousands of years ago, if there was a lion in the corner, you've got the system in your brain called a fight or flight. It's a sympathetic response. It's a fear response in your brain that activates and pushes all your blood to your limbs so you're ready to run if you need to. The other thing it does is it narrows your focus, so you become like really focused in. But then it also gives you this horrible feeling in your stomach because everything is pushing out. So that's what we call a fight or flight system, and that's built in. So all it's made is to protect you. Because back in the day, if something was to threaten you, you need a stress response, all right? So I'm just gonna show you this. So this here is like a really simple model of your brain. So that chimp in the middle, has everyone got that inner critic or that voice that's constantly jabbering along? A few of the girls will know this because we talked about it at the Winter Academy. So that's your chimp in the middle, it's your limbic system. So it's an actual part of your brain right in the middle. Everyone has this. Every time there's a threat to you, that person in the bush as you're walking, activates, bang, 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 whole lot of wiring, fight or flight system, we're ready to move, we're ready to go. All right? Completely normal. It's there to protect you. The other part is if you get kicked out of a tribe back in the day, you're not going to survive, you're actually going to die. So we're very social people. So if you fail and your friend doesn't like you because you fail, we think that's a threat to our safety. Whereas right now, if you got kicked out of this tribe or we said, sorry, you can't be included in this program today, you'll feel bad, but do you think you're going to die? Do you think your life's in danger? Probably not. So we're going to go out in the middle. The same system is activated. Why though? So like if the ball hits the stumps, am I going to die? No. Am I going to have to go to school tomorrow? Probably. Am I going to have food on the table when I get home? Yep. But the same system activates and we all have it. The reason being is because we think in our brains, our chimp thinks that if other people don't like us or if we're not successful, then we're in danger and it sets off this stress response. But we know it's not real. The human in front of you, so that's your frontal cortex, the human knows that that's not real, but the problem is the chimp acts too fast. So the chimp is immediate, it reacts first and it's way more powerful. Whereas the human is logical, it knows what's going on, but it's really difficult to make that decision. So when you're in a game, the chimp's going nuts, the human can't respond fast enough. And that's where we talk about performance routines and being able to take a deep breath, to relax and then refocus. The relaxing and the stepping off the crease and slowing everything down gives the human a chance to react. This computer we won't get into too much, but if you hit millions and millions of balls, what happens is your training goes into your subconscious and it becomes habitual. So we talked at the start about what are your habits. They're the ones that get ingrained into the automatic things you do. So when we talk about fear, so the chimp has some cravings. It needs to feel connection, it needs to belong. Everyone has that need. As soon as there's a threat to it, it gets in trouble. The problem with the chimp is that it's got a negativity bias, right? It's always searching for threats. Always. It's always searching. When you walk into a room, do I belong here? Am I going to get kicked out? That combination and you telling yourself a specific story, that's what leads to fear of failure. But what about that story? We can't control the chimp. The chimp's in our brain. It's part of our circuitry. We can't control that it's got a negative bias. But what we can control is a story you tell yourself. Now there's two different stories you can tell yourself. So you can tell yourself a story that I'm not enough as a human. Like as a young girl, I'm not valuable as I am. Therefore, my worth as a person is dependent on going out and achieving things. Now the problem is we all tell ourselves this story because of external forces too. So the three biggest storytellers on the planet when we talk about storytelling. One, it's the media. The second is social media. And the third is advertising. And we're like sitting on your phone every day, you're seeing those things all the time. So the media, over 73% stories are negative, fear-based. Social media, I. It's all focused on yourself. You then compare to other people. Advertising is based on shame. If you don't have these shoes or if you don't have this type of bat or this thing, then you're not cool enough. And therefore you go out and buy it. It's very powerful. That's how they get you to buy things. So all of these things combined say like, oh, I'm not enough as I am, therefore I need to go out and achieve things. So if we take it into a cricket context, when you're standing there and in your brain it's telling you that, your brain's telling you, if I get out here, I'm going to let my teammates down. I'm going to feel bad about myself. I'm not going to achieve my goals. And you take that to heart, what do you think is going to happen? Yeah? You make a mistake. Yep. But then how do you feel about that mistake after the game? Feel horrible. Yeah. You feel worthless. What if you could go the other way? And what if you could say, well, you know what? Actually, I'm valuable as a human. I'm very much worthy of going after my goals. Yes, it's going to hurt. Of course, it's going to hurt when you get out. I'm not going to say it's not going to hurt. But what if you could value yourself on being a person first? And then when you go out and bat, there's less pressure on you now. So it's rather than being what I call a human doing. So you think you need to do things all the time to feel valuable and I need to achieve, I need to do this, I need to do that. It's too much pressure. Instead, we want to try be a human being. Does anyone know what the difference might be between a human doing and a human being? So doing is about the future. I've got to do all this stuff to then be happy, to then be valuable. Whereas a human being is about being here now. So who do you want to be rather than what do you want to do?